Durable dads, brothers from other mothers, and sisters from different misters. Welcome back to Durable Dads, and this time I'm going to be reviewing the BioLite Camp Kettle and Coffee Maker. Okay, I want you to imagine this scenario. You're the first person up on a family camping trip, and you're up at the crack of dawn, and all you want in the whole entire world is a good cup of coffee and a game of solitaire. Okay? Your phone is dead because you spent the time like taking a bazillion pictures, and the battery's just kind of swirling. Okay, so in this scenario, you don't want to fire up the old camp stove because you want to save that for pancakes later. It's just you, and your phone's just about to die. Okay, well, that's where this little unit comes in. So let's get to my favorite spot and let's unbag this bad boy. Okay, so the unbagging. And just as I'm doing this, I kind of want to let you know where the location is. We're at the lookout here on Kamloops Lake, just a few minutes out of Savannah, BC. The last place I shot the video, where I did the bush saw, you can almost see it way in the background. We've got Greenstone just above my shoulder here, and Padova City or Cooney Bay behind us way at the end of the lake, and past that is Kamloops. Okay, so as I'm unskinning this thing, I've got an outer bag, and this is kind of all designed to fit together as nice as you please. Okay, so I'm going to put the instructions. Who uses those? Here we go. We've got a USB light just in case you're trying to pull the maneuver in like at gross o'clock in the morning. Okay, and you still don't have enough light. Charging cord. Okay, I cheated a little bit and I put a little bit of a charge on this just to show that, just in case the fire and brewing the coffee doesn't charge this thing up enough to charge a phone. So, and for less footage cuts. Okay, but here's the charging cable. All right, underneath we have the plunger, or at least the bottom of it. Okay. Lift up the top of the kettle. Voila, we have the rest of the guts of this thing. Now, at the weight and the size of this, while incredibly compact, hardcore hikers, you're not going to want to take this unit with you. I mean, the space it takes and the weight, if you're going to be camping and hiking, this probably isn't the best fit for you, simply because literally the space is at least 4 days of like crust chips and trail mix or whatever hardcore hikers use to sustain themselves on a big hike. So that saying, this is the kettle itself with the perforations here so the flame can rip past you. By the way, this is flame powered. Now, I was gonna go ahead and say first impressions when I do get this fully unpacked, but you know what? This thing makes coffee and will charge your device with fire. Okay, I don't need to make a good impression on this thing. I need to make a good impression on it. Okay, continue on. Bag number 2. All right, this is the main unit right here. So this is what's going to sit. We've got a little tripod where it's going to stand right in front of us. Ta-da! I'll move this around for you guys too. So, and then it comes out. This is the charging unit right there. This under here is where you're going to charge it if you want to put a charge on it. I did. About 3/4 of one is already on here. This is your USB adapter, so you can charge it just about any device you can think of with it. Your power controls. Now an on, and then you'll be able to change the fan settings. The fan's what you're going to want to get your coffee good and rolling, and it's also that fan that's going to be charging up your battery, so you're going to want to have that. And then just press down again like an hold down, and that's how you kill the thing and turn it off. And you know what? It just feeds up through here, this little chimney part here, and it sits in. Okay, maybe, just maybe, I needed to do this part first. Yep, I did. And then it just sits in there, and the tripod leg keeps it in place. And there you go. So the next step, first, second, third impression, is it'll just sit up on here. So you're going to want to start a fire in there. That'll be our next clip, is obviously starting the fire. So this will sit. This, I'm not sure, that's your cup of soup bowl. Maybe it's just has cleaner for everything to sit in better. So, and then the other part of this, just for compact sake, you're gonna have to screw the plunger in. So voila, and then you're gonna press down like that when you've boiled your sludge. And trigger warning, I like my coffee really strong. And then you just put this on top, load it up. Its capacity is about 1.5 liters, 6 cups of coffee. That's possibly to my size. We did bring cups. So, but that should get you through your immediate start of the morning before the kids wake up. So, or you're on a solo camping trip or a solo fishing trip, and you just need to like have a cup of coffee. Now, this setup, as you're looking at it right now, is an expensive little setup. It's going to run you about 300 bones. So you got to decide whether that's going to be worth it. You go up to 350, 400. It comes with another attachment here. It comes off that has a cook stove, which is adequate for just one person and would probably cook up your catch of the day. So add that in because you're not seeing it in its full glory, but you know, coffee is enough, especially in a beautiful situation and space as what we have right here. So you know what, the next part of this is now you've seen it kind of set up. The idea is there. What I got to do next is get a fire going and get this thing rolling. Now I want you to bear in mind that the scenario here is that you're up at the crack of dawn. And you know what, I could have set this with my fancy fire starting kit or whatever, but a barbecue lighter is probably going to be something that you're going to have anyway with you. Nice thing is I brought my own little grass and twigs to start this, so I did cheat a little bit, but the nice thing about this thing is that it is designed to run off of totally forageable material. So here we go. Let's see if this will take and whether I've built a pretty good contained fire or not. This I cannot tell. All right, this might be an edit. So if you see a scene jump, you'll know what's going on. This is where you pray, because you know what? You don't want to have any difficulties starting your first cup of coffee. Pre-coffee in the morning, especially when camping, is not when you want to have stuff like this go down. Okay, you know what? Edit time. See you next scene. So while we're waiting for the fire to show us some love, yeah, it's proving a little trickier than I expected. I will prove to you that the LED light is aiding and abetting our process, our imaginary process of first thing in the morning. And this now much anticipated cup of coffee at this point. Damn you, fire. Anyways, it works. We didn't bring charging cables, or I forgot one. And otherwise I would have shown it, you know, charging this phone. Oops. Anyways, still waiting on a fire. See you next edit. Okay, I don't know if you're seeing this, but we have flames, flames, which is the start of something new, because this cup of coffee is now, I don't know, right around pissed off o'clock, and I'm really wanting it. So I'm just hoping that now that this thing's actually taken off, it'll get down, get some coals, and then we'll throw in another layer on here, and then we'll get this water boiling. Okay, by about this time, I've already taken a couple of scoops of grounds and chewed them and knocked it back with last night's beer. Anyways, we finally got the pot on. There's a good fire in the chamber. We're waiting for this to boil. So while we're waiting it for a boil, just a couple of quick facts about BioLite. BioLite is a New York company, and it has two kind of little streams for business. One is where it's obviously caters to the outdoor enthusiasts for off-grid kind of power and camping and adventure gear. And the other part of it is for developing countries finding different ways to produce power. Pretty cool. Anyways, I thought you guys might appreciate the eco-friendliness and adventure stream of this. Anyways, a watch pot never boils, so I'm going to go get to some scenery. At long last, we've got some coals, and this is almost boiling. I can peek in there. It's going to be close enough. I'm going to turn the fan up to jet fuel, but for right now, what I need to do is start this action. So how am I feeling at this point? I'm feeling like there's a whole lot of coarse ground action that needs to go in here. So, and for more authentic flavor, we use our little stir stick for the hickory smoke action, and we're gonna let this sludgy sludge do its thing. Okay, at long last, and by my estimation, this here sludge has turned into something absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to, maybe we should take this off. Oh yeah, that's still burning quite nicely. Note to self, bring dry wood. Okay, now this is the moment of goodness. Here's the plunger. It's got a nice gasket on it, so this goes. Push it down nice and slow. Okay, so anybody who tries to tell you that a perk coffee maker, I believe that all coffee drinkers, us coffee drinkers, should, you know, show unity and stay together, but okay, a French press is clearly superior way to make coffee, and camp coffee with the French press, oh yeah, that's the way it is. Okay, so we're gonna wait until this is pushed fully down, and I'm assuming this has enough space. They designed this with enough space on the lid to cover the plunger handle. Oh, they do. And now this is the moment of beauty. My fancy durable dad's cups. Okay, grab it up. Everything's heat grade silicone, so it's perfect. Look at this. Now, I think that that's going to be pretty skookum coffee. Now, direct sunlight through it tells me that it may not be the strength that I like it, especially first thing in the morning. I think after a hard night of camping and you're out in the splendors of nature, that, you know what, your coffee should punch you in the face. Anyways, you know what, let's get some coffee into us and have a sip, and I'll have some final thoughts for you in next scene. Okay, some closing thoughts and some key takeaways. All right, for 300 bones, is this certified? Yes. Would I spend 300 bucks for this? or $400 to have the camp stove along with it? Or would I continue borrowing it off my friend for eternity? Probably the latter. It is quite the investment. Now, the key takeaways are have some dry wood. Okay, you can forage for the twigs and berries and whatever you want to chuck in there after you have a good fire going. Raid the kindling pile. Okay, does it make good coffee? Well, for my first attempt, it's adequate. I've had worse. However, the longer it steeps, the more you reap. Okay, so have it on a stiff boil and keep it there for 5-6 minutes, I would say. And then you're gonna have great coffee, great camp coffee. Okay, I can see this unit maybe not so much being part of your family setup, but for a fishing trip or an overnighter, yeah, this would probably fit into the itinerary pretty nicely. It works as long as you work it properly. Does it charge a phone? It sure does. If it's working, everything's working tickety-boo, you're gonna have a decent fire and you're gonna hear a faint whine. You can use the fan if you want, turn it on, but if the fan is off and you hear a faint whine, that means it's charging the cell, which is exactly what you want to. So yes, this thing works. Indeterminate on whether I would go out and spend $300 on this right away. By the way, a big shout out to Dawn for the lend of this to be able to do a review. The view's been spectacular. This is a great view spot and it gets a lot of traffic. And the day has been perfect. So the review. So now my next step is, now that it's certified and I've given you the caveats, I'm going to go sip the rest of this coffee. I'm going to give you some gratuitous viewpoint footage to send you off. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Peace out, Scout. As promised, some gratuitous nature shots. What do we have over here? That's Kamloops Lake. Below us is the CP tracks. On the other side is the CN tracks, railroad tracks. Unless we go off the beaten path a little bit, trains are going to be a part of life. I'm going to do a little zoom in. Let's take you there. Oh look. Now this is a little bit of a stretch for this camera, even with the big zoom, but that's where we were with the bush saw review. Okay, let's back it on up. Got Greenstone Mountain right over there. Yes, this is a beautiful spot. Every time I'm traveling Cache Creek Way or for the old number 1, this is the way to go. I highly recommend stopping here because it's worth your while. This is a great place to sip a coffee, collect your thoughts, and kind of recover after trying to make coffee on the fly, not knowing what you're doing. Anyways, thanks guys. I appreciate your time.